The Labour Party has won this general election, and I have called Sir Keir Starmer to congratulate him on his victory. Today, power will change hands in a peaceful and orderly manner, with goodwill on all sides. That is something that should give us all confidence in our country's stability and future. The British people have delivered a sobering verdict tonight. There is much to learn and reflect on, and I take responsibility for the loss. To the many good, hard-working Conservative candidates who lost tonight, despite their tireless efforts, their local records of delivery, and their dedication to their communities, I am sorry. I will now head down to London, where I will say more about tonight's result before I leave the job of Prime Minister, to which I have given my all. I will then return here, to my family's home, and I look forward to spending more time with you all in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Thank you.
The Conservatives are out of power in Britain for the first time in 14 years. How did it happen, and where do they go from here? The Conservative Party have been in a really difficult situation ever since Boris Johnson was forced to resign as Prime Minister over the coronavirus lockdown Partygate scandal.
Good afternoon.
And then his replacement, Liz Truss, led the country into an economic crisis, and she had to resign in a sort of record short time.
But if you come here illegally, you can't claim asylum.
Rishi Sunak had an unenviable inheritance from those two leaders and a big gap in the polls to try and close. Unfortunately for him, nothing Rishi Sunak has tried has been able to close that gap, and many Conservative lawmakers blame his slightly brittle, slightly tetchy style of leadership and lack of overall strategy for this.
My message to the party and the country is simple.
So there's been a number of external factors which have also played into the difficulties the Conservatives have faced. As Prime Minister Rishi Sunak would quite often cite, he would sort of say that the recovery from the coronavirus pandemic or the war in Ukraine is driving prices up and caused a cost of living crisis. And at the end of the day, the electorate has sort of said perhaps it's better to change tack and maybe laid the blame for some of the malaise that there's been in Britain for the last 2 or 3 years at the government store. So where does the Conservative Party go from here? It seems likely that there's going to be a very tough, very messy leadership election.
Hello.
As different personalities compete to become next leader of the party. Now, you would imagine that someone on the right wing of the party might fare pretty well in that election, particularly if it goes to the Conservative Party membership, who are to the right of the population at large. However, that leader is also going to need to come up with a pitch for government which can appeal to the broad electorate, not just to the Conservative Party's own members. And so that balancing act for any future leader will be a really interesting one to watch to see how they can navigate it.
We can reveal it is a Labour landslide being predicted by the exit poll, a catastrophe for the Labour Prime Minister in history.
So, a Labour landslide. This is
like the exit poll is just like amazing. I mean, 14 years of Tory chaos, and we are finally out of it, and we are out of it with a huge bang. I mean, 410 seats for Labour is just amazing. This is probably the highest result they've ever had. So this is really, really good.
MP has been absolutely devastated with a result that leaves them with just 10 seats.
So correct me if my maths is wrong, but
exactly what the party has. We are hearing that Labour has got 400.
Well, my immediate reaction is I am delighted that Labour got so many seats, and I hoped the Tories might get a bit less than that in the end. I really wanted to see the smiles wiped off their faces, and I was thrilled to see Nadine Dorries looking so cross. I guess I was shocked that Reform looked like they're getting so many. I feel like that's really dangerous.
Yeah. And Gary, we talk now. The Lib Dems are on 61 seats. The Reform Party are on 13.
that's extraordinary.
An extraordinary number for a new party.
I'm, of course, delighted. I am rather bitterly disappointed that the Tories got quite so many seats. I wanted the Lib Dems to be in opposition, but hey ho, what can you do?
Okay, so first of all, fantastic news, okay, that we have got rid of the Tories from power, okay, that is brilliant. I am not convinced that the exit polls are entirely accurate, because I know that they are an extrapolation on a handful of constituencies and how they voted. And so, for example, I don't believe that Reform got 13 seats. I think that's way above what they could get. Okay, and likewise, I think the Conservatives probably fewer than 130, closer to 100. Labour probably up, closer to 430, and then Lib Dems, their seat number probably high. But other than that, honestly, brilliant news. I am just happy to have got rid of the Tories for this election. I'm so glad.
I'll try to bring you those numbers and the breakdown as we just...
I'm really pleased. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to have some competent governance moving forward. That's all I hope for, because it's been very clear to me for a long time that we've had a party that's been in power that's more interested in being the party in power rather than actually governing. And they've been appalling. They've been beyond parody. They've robbed the country blind, and we just want something that's basically that they're actually going to do the job properly and look after the country.
And then I thought to govern the country, but it was absolute power with